Hey everybody. John, say hi. This is my 2021 Tao TBR7. It is bone stock except for two things. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you it's completely stock. I have rejetted the carburetor and I have put a 17-tooth front sprocket. The reason I put a 17-tooth front sprocket is because this bike would not go above 50 miles an hour, and even then it was wound out. Other than that, she is bone stock, and me and John are out riding, just kind of cruising around. John swears his bike looks better than mine, but I don't know. I mean, yours is red. Yeah. And it says Honda on the side. There's no C on yours, it just says Honda. That's the Jonda. He hates when I call it that. I'll do a quick little rundown on it, figure out what can and should be done on it. Let's get after it. Alrighty. Finally time to see what this bad boy's made of. It's been a long time since we've got to do this right here. Me and John used to ride together years ago when we both had bikes, and then, you know, we got all domesticated, got wives and stuff, and we stopped riding for a long time. And then he got his CRF, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get me one too. But I wasn't gonna give up on my Chonda lifestyle. I ended up with a 2021 Tao TBR7. Long story short, I got this Tao TBR7 because John got him a CRF 300, and he was like, we need to go ride again. Well, I wasn't just gonna not go ride. I mean, everything I have, I've got bikes, but none of them were street legal. I did a bunch of research. I jumped back and forth between the Hawk 250 DLX, the Braz 250, and the Tao TBR7. With the reviews, don't get me wrong, all three were solid bikes. The Tao just seemed to, you know, come out in front from everything else. So I ended up buying this. I actually bought mine off of Amazon, which usually bugs a lot of people. But from the jump, this bike has impressed me. Now, I'm going to go over some likes and some dislikes, and I'll start with the dislikes first, just so you can go ahead and know what you're getting into. It's not really a dislike, but more of like a heads up for everybody. If you are not mechanically inclined, you've never really turned a wrench in your life, and you don't want to spend the time working on something like this, you do not need to buy a Chinese motorcycle. And I only say that to save you a bunch of time and money, because you see a lot of people crap all over this bike because they don't know what to do with it with the littlest hiccup. There's just a couple things that you're going to want to keep in mind when you buy it. If you do buy one, you're going to need to set the valve lash. If you don't know how to do it, you need to learn. There's plenty of videos on YouTube on how to do this. Just about everything you could possibly do on this bike, somebody has done and put it on YouTube. If you don't want to work on something, go spend 3-4 times the money and buy a Japanese bike and be done with it. And then every time something goes wrong with it, take it to the shop. If you've got money like that, go for it. Me, I like tinkering on stuff. I like learning how to do this stuff, so that's why, part of the reason why I bought a Tao. So you need to know off the bat, you're going to have to do some work to it. Set your valve lash. Rejet your carburetor. Almost all of these Chinese bikes are jetted lean as hell from the factory. I mean, stupid lean. I have a 110 jet in mine now, and it started out with an 88. I mean, when I found that out, I was surprised it even ran. It would pop, it would hesitate, it stuttered a lot, I mean, on startup, and it took a little while to get it started. I settled out with a 108 main jet. It could probably use a 110, but 108 is just what I had on hand, and it seems to be happy right there, so that's what I settled with. Okay, the other dislike is the lighting, the stock lighting. Go ahead and plan on buying turn signals and an LED headlight. The stock headlight on this thing is trash at night. Most new bikes, the stock headlights on them are garbage anyway, so I went ahead and just ordered an LED just because I got spoiled on LEDs. I had to do a little trimming to get my new headlight to fit, or the new bulb. Once I put a new one in, it was fine. Last dislike kind of circles back to the same thing with the valves. You have to Loctite everything on this bike, and I mean everything, because stuff will vibrate loose if you're not careful. Now, I already knew that from dealing with Chinese bikes in the past, and I knew I was going to be putting a lot more time and hours on this one than I was on my old bike or on any of my dirt bikes. You want to make sure you Loctite everything because stuff will vibrate loose and you don't know if it's important stuff. So any bolt that you have to put in, Loctite it. Any bolt that's already put in, back it out, Loctite it, put it back in there. I mean, it's just precautionary. And stuff like the shock bolt, the front axle, stuff like that, you don't want that stuff shaking loose because you'll go from in your seat to on the pavement pretty quickly. I've got one more dislike: the stock gearing. The stock gearing is not great. The stock gearing on these bikes is ridiculously short. You've got torque for days, which, I mean, they geared it kind of like a dirt bike, but I mean, the top speed I could get out of it was about 50 miles an hour, and that sounded like I was going to send a rod to God. So on to the lights. Pretty much everything about this bike I like. Like the exhaust. I love the exhaust on it. I was expecting it to sound like a scooter, and it doesn't. It actually has a good tone to it. I'm still going to change it just for performance reasons. But other than that, I mean, it's a great exhaust. Yeah, John's going to interrupt my list. It's funny, he gets out in front and he don't know where he's going. He's got 70 more cc's and a 6th gear, so it's kind of an unfair thing here. Hey, we can take the bike lane, right? This is technically a bike.
I always do. That's what I was about to say.
Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. The things that I like about this bike, the seat is stupid comfortable. Like, I'm absolutely amazed at how comfortable the seat is on this bike. The stock tires actually grip really well. I haven't taken them in anything else other than on pavement, but the stock tires do beautifully. I like them. I mean, these stock tires are great, man. I can carve into stuff really well. The bike is just comfortable. Like, I don't feel like I'm laying down on this bike, but I also don't feel like I'm super stretched out like you would be on like a cruiser. I've rode a bunch of different bikes, and this is honestly the most comfortable and fun one I've ever rode on. I love how just agile this thing is. Like, it's got just enough power where you won't get run over on the highway, but it's light enough where you can just whip it. I mean, this thing, I can just carve the absolute shit out of it. It's awesome. I mean, we can start heading back to the house if you want to. Am I going to tell you there's not better options? No, I'm not doing that. But these do exactly what I want them to do. Dude, I caught a bug right to the nipple. That hurt. Ooh, that did not feel good. But if you're on the fence about a TBR7, like you've got it sitting in your Amazon cart and it's just waiting on you to hit buy now, you've already come this far, hit the button. Any problems that you run into, somebody else has run into it and they can tell you how to fix it. If you're into that kind of thing, if you want something that's just gonna run, and you can do whatever you want to with it as soon as you get it home, go buy a Jap bike. This is not for you. This is for the guys with the busted knuckles and the greasy hands. I've rode a ton of bikes. I've owned, I think this is the 13th bike I've owned. This is the most fun. It's not the fastest. No, it's not. But it is the most fun bike I've ever owned. I will not argue that one bit. We'll just do, I'm going to pull out here and do it and then come back. .95 seconds. I got 21.95 seconds, so right at 22 seconds for 0 to 60, and I think I missed a gear, so we'll see what happens. Damn! I shaved 2 seconds off of it. We'll do one more. 0 to 60 time on a stock TBR7 with a 17.2 sprocket. So we finally got the test drive done with the TBR7 in its stock form. I think we came out to an average on the 0 to 60 time at roughly 21 seconds, between 20 and 21, which is not bad for a 230cc 5-speed Chinese bike. No, I think it needs to be faster.
Yeah,
and louder.
It's modified the same.
You want to modify it?
I can't leave it stock. You know it didn't take much convincing. I said, hey, we need to modify it. He said, bird. Gotcha.
If you're on the fence about buying a TBR7, like you've got it in your Amazon cart and you're just thinking about it and you haven't exactly pressed go yet, hit go. Just do it, man. You made it this far. Fresh out the crate, it's a great bike. However, we're going to modify it just because that's what we do here. But if you haven't already, you can like and subscribe. Make sure you use the links in the description to pick up a t-shirt from MIniBike Apparel or a Rattle Can Customs t-shirt from Stubborn Customs. And until next time, y'all get up, get out there, and get after it.